Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Tuesday, November 4th, Election Day 2025. This is a big day, very important. Again, I'm a political atheist. It's not what you like, what you want, what you wish for. I'm a trend forecaster. You look at things for the way they are, not the way you want them to be. And there's that election in New York City between that guy, Mamdani, Curtis Sliwa, and little arrogant Andy Cuomo, the daddy's boy. Yeah, the guy that locked down the state, second state to lock down for the COVID war. Yeah, that little boy. If this Mamdani wins, right now they're coming out with the data. More people have turned out so far since November 2001. 2001. That's September, October, November, like a month and some days after 9/11. Like that's how many people are turning out to vote. This is important. Again, it's not what you like, what you want, what you wish for. It's what is. If this guy Mamdani wins, this is a very important trend. And it's showing you how disgusted the people are with the current system and how desperate they are for government help. Again, we write in the Trends Journal, and there's a bunch of articles in here about what's going on and how, the plantation workers of Slavelandia, we can't, can't afford anything. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse by the day. Pay growth slows for American workers, but the rich are getting richer. It's one article after another. The Eurozone economy grows barely. Layoffs are on the rise around the world. So it's a time when there's going to be more socialism. People, if this guy wins. I mean, this is New York City. This is important. This, I guess this is in Akron, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, or whatever. This is New York City, one of the biggest cities, most populous, one of the most popular cities in the world. So anyway, watch out to see what's going on here. And of course, the news was that Dick Cheney died. May he rot in hell, that warmongering little bastard. I never call him Dick because they don't want to get blacklisted, so I call him Penis Cheney. That's the big news. Look at the wars this clown guy got us into. He should rot in hell with all the other warmongers. And again, I launched Occupy Peace over a decade. And I have peace rallies and do everything I can. But again, the billionaires don't give multimillionaires don't give a penny for peace. So going on to your magazine, the Trends Journal, you saw the markets today. The NASDAQ slumped over 2%. The S&P fell over 1%, and the Dow was down 251 points. And that Planetaire shares shed about 8%, right? But they were up more than 150% this year. And they're trading at 200 times earnings. So here you have the P ratios are way out of line. And now the media is talking about the AI bust. And we call it the dot-com bust 2.0. They're way overinvested in these companies. And again, that's your magazine cover going back to February 5th of this year. And we called it on January 28th. Oracle fell 4% lower, but their stock's up some 50% this year. I mean, it's ridiculous. The crash could well be happening now. And this guy, David Solomon from Goldman Sachs last night said, quote, there'll likely be a 10 to 20% drawdown in equity markets sometimes in the next 12 to 24 months. Yeah, what, 1 or 2 years. Yeah, I mean, what the fuck are you kidding? That's like a nothing saying. We believe it's going to happen earlier. And again, your magazine shows it in the sense that what's going on with the banks, how they're bailing them out, and they're hardly talking about it. And by the way, this is the cover of this week's magazine. Daylight savings time. No, daylight stupid time. Politicians make it darker as it gets darker. What stupid shit this is. It gets darker earlier as autumn comes. And now they make it darker an hour earlier. So now less people go out at night. I mean, this makes absolutely no fucking sense. And the Germans started this thing. This when it became, and then the Americans picked up wartime. You got to save energy. You got stupid fucking shit. Stupid fucking shit from a bunch of stupid fucking politicians. Remember, when you jerk off, don't forget to sanitize your hands. Wear that mask. Yep. Wear that mask and stand 6 feet apart. All right? The same shitheads who make up all this other shit made up that shit. Oh, and by the way, look it up. Look up at the mental and physical health problems caused by spring ahead, fall back. Anyway, moving forward. Brent crude, it's still selling in the $64 a barrel range. Again, OPEC Plus is pushing out more oil. They need more dough, so you got much more supply than demand. And again, there's going to be a global slowdown. Dragflation is going to be dragged down economies and increasing inflation. Inflation's not going to stop. Gold was down nearly $70 an ounce today, lower than I would have thought it was gone. And the dollar's going up. And why? I have no idea. But, one of the reasons is less confidence in that they're going to lower interest rates. And remember, subscribe to the Trends Journal. We're giving you history before it happens. And hit the subscribe button on this because we're getting shadow banned and taken off. The numbers aren't where they used to be. And again, we're giving you what nobody else in the world is giving you for the grand total of $2.59 a week in the Trends Journal. So really, hit the link, subscribe, and spread the word. Bitcoin was down below $100,000 a coin. It was high as what, $124,000, but it's still way up there. And now it's like its lowest number, for a while. So we're still bullish on it because the Trump team is in it, and they're going to keep. Nothing goes straight up or straight down. And again, I want to make it really, really important. Watch this election and what happens in New York City today. This is very, very important. And gold, going back to gold, as we see it, gold has to stay above the $4,000 an ounce range. Once it solidifies above that, then we see it going much higher. And again, the wars are ramping up in the Middle East and Ukraine. And here, you got just a couple of articles here. Israel violates ceasefire agreement. Netanyahu orders powerful strikes on Gaza. Israel stealing more Palestinian land, begins dividing Gaza in half. Israel violates ceasefire, continues to bomb Lebanon with U.S. support. And they're also bombing Syria, taking more land from them. It's going to keep ramping up. And the Ukraine war is ramping up. They're hitting important oil sites in Russia. And we said this was going to happen. And by the way, because of the sanctions that the United States put on Russia with oil, remember Joe Biden, Genocide Joe, who stole about $250 billion of our money to keep the Ukraine war going? He said Putin's going to pay the price. No, the Germans are paying the price. The cost of energy in Germany has gone up nearly 33% since the war began in 2022, February. So it's very, very stupid crap. And it's all going to go, oh, we've been writing over, years. When the economy falls, jobs go with it. Oh, today IBM announced they're cutting 3,000 jobs. It goes back to the economy. The equity markets have zero to do with Main Street. There's no relationship between Main Street and Wall Street. And we mentioned this before. Oxfam came out with we didn't actually mention it before, it just happened Monday. They came out with a new report that shows how the rich are getting much richer and how everybody else is getting much poorer. And this is in America particularly. This used to be the land of opportunity. It's gone. It's gone. And again, it goes back to that election today in New York City to see what's going to happen. So you're going to see more and more job cuts, and then they say AI is going to cut a lot more out of them. Fed slips nearly $30 billion into cash-starved U.S. banking sector. Yep. Barely reported. Barely reported. The banks are going to go bust. There's going to be an office building bust. You're looking at your office occupancy rate only around 55%. And your office vacancy rate is around 20%, was around 11% before the COVID war in 2019. There's going to be huge failures in banks. They're not reporting this. They're not reporting the buildings that are being sold for a fraction of what they were bought for. And when the dot-com bust happens, it's going to be the beginning of the end of the equity markets. And remember, when all else fails, they take you to war. And when the dot-com busts happen, get ready for war. What else do we have here? Markets fragility events reach a record number. New poll confirms consumers' dark mood. Again, 70% of America's gross domestic product, nearly, is based on consumer spending. So with all these job cuts, with wages going below real inflation, with Christmas time coming up and you're seeing they're hiring less and less people, the worst is coming soon economically. And article, new trade agreement leaves key issues unresolved. Oh, the ECB plans to test digital euro for 2027. Yep. Digital euro, as we said, from dirty cash to digital trash. That's the way the world is going. They want to know every penny you spent, what you spent it on, where you spent it. There you got it. Yep. We can spy on you. We'll know all about you. And most importantly, we get your taxes. And I'm tired of calling these taxes. Call it thievery. They misspelt the word. I got buildings over here. I'm paying $19,000, $18,000 for school taxes. I don't have any kids. To me, the more kids you have, the more you should pay taxes. I don't want to pay for your kids. And with this AI world and a high-tech world, you could be learning online. Teach your own kids instead of saying the government propaganda schools. I hated every fucking day of school. Again, I ran away from kindergarten at 4.5 years old across the Boston Post Road, just to make it clear. And what else do we have here? $81 billion in deals announced in 12 days. The M&A activity keeps building. It's in trends, all things are connected. Or as Chief Seattle said, all things are connected, like the blood which unites us all. So when you're seeing all of these AI deals going, again, $81 billion, that's a lot of dough in just 12 days. The bigs are getting bigger, and the plantation workers of slave land are getting smaller. Again, this is no longer the land of opportunity. Drugstores, shoe stores, grocery stores, hardware stores, stationery stores, time of the past. Young people have no idea what it used to be like when I was a young guy. A whole different America. And again, featured guest articles by Phil Giraldi, From Genocide Joe to School Bully Trump, The Vampire State, Feeding on Our Fear, Freedom and Finances, John and Nisha Whitehead, the Rutherford Institute, Understanding Importance of B Vitamins for Health, Dr. McCullough, and saying what we're saying in his way he says it, in a different way, the economy is slowing, contracting at extreme pace. Here is the proof. Gregory Mannarino. And Trends in Technocracy by Joe Duran, the Technocracy Man. A whole bunch of trends in geopolitics. Yep. And Trends I Views. No correlation between Wall Street, Main Street, Americans living paycheck to paycheck. And you ready? Nearly half of Americans believe the best times of the country are behind them. Again, when you read these articles and then you see what's going on in New York City, all things are connected. And on the presidential reality show, U.S. continues bombing fishing boats in Caribbean that they say are drug dealers. You don't bomb a boat saying they're drug dealers. You bring the people to court and you see if they're guilty or not. Trump ramps up bombing in Somalia. This is the guy that sold himself as the peace president. And Trump is saying Maduro's days are numbered. That's the president of Venezuela. Who the fuck is Trump to say this? And what the fuck do I care what's going on in Venezuela? And I don't want to hear this fairy tale about drug dealing. Because again, as you look at your Trends Journal, all the details are there. We wrote about it when it was happening, when Trump wanted to overthrow Maduro in 2019. And he brought in that little boy, Guaido. We played the clip for you. Here it is.
That's why my administration reversed the failing policies of the previous administration on Cuba. We are supporting the hopes of Cubans, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans to restore democracy. The United States is leading a 59-nation diplomatic coalition against the socialist dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. Maduro is an illegitimate ruler, a tyrant who brutalizes his people, but Maduro's grip on tyranny will be smashed and broken. Here this evening is a very brave man who carries with him the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of all Venezuelans. Joining us in the gallery is the true and legitimate president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido. Mr. President, please take this message back to your family. Thank you, Mr. President. Great honor. Thank you very much. Please take this message back that all Americans are united with the Venezuelan people in their righteous struggle for freedom. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
All Americans are united with Venezuelan people for their struggle for freedom. And nothing to do with drugs. So all you people that's buying this drug bullshit, shove it up your ass. Shove it up your ass. Total fucking bullshit. By the facts. So fact you. Yep. And he calls Guaido the true and legitimate president. Who the fuck made this crap up? True and legitimate. There was no election. And Trump said that Venezuela was going to be smashed and broken. Didn't happen, did it? So anyway, those are some of the articles in your Trends Journal. We give you the facts, not like the mainstream media prostitutes, media whores that get paid to put out by the corporate pimps and government whoremasters. So subscribe to the Trends Journal if you want history before it happens and the truth and trends. And don't forget tomorrow, Salenti and the Judge. See you then.